there's so much uniqueness in the content and the members themselves. Blitz. Howdy, Meowers.
Hey, everybody.
My name is Blitzen, aka Zen if you want, and today we are talking about blitzers.
Blitzers, Zen,
Blitzers.
I thought I'd throw your name in there a little bit, but yes, blitzers.
Blitzers, the K-pop group that you know and love, and if you don't know and love them, after this episode, hopefully that will change because we are telling you why you should stan blitzers.
Yeah, so buckle up your seat belt, open the window, and get ready for some good times.
Yeah. So, we're talking about blitzers, and if you know the BlushCat podcast, you will have heard us talk about blitzers by now.
Yes,
We've
definitely.
talked about blitzers a lot. We've talked about blitzers Macarena specifically a lot, especially if you heard our 2023 K-pop favorites episode.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Go check it out if you don't believe us.
Yeah.
It's actually crazy to think that when we've restarted up the BlushCat podcast, we did not yet know about this blitzers phenomenon.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's crazy.
Yeah. So, honestly, this episode is for anyone who doesn't know about the blitzers phenomenon.
Exactly. And you're about to get schooled. You're about to be informed so that you too can be a part of this great experience.
Yeah. We are going to turn you into a BLEE. That
Absolutely.
is the blitzers fan. And we're just going to be giving you several reasons why you should stan blitzers, why you should be a fan, why you need to check out blitzers, basically, is what this episode is about. We're going to be talking about how iconic they are. We're going to be sharing some general information on blitzers. We'll tell you about their comebacks, their releases a little bit. We'll kind of be doing a blitzers mixed bag because we want you to be informed. We want you to have the blitzers knowledge so that you can support blitzers.
Yes, and I'd like to give a little disclaimer before we get into it because some of the language we're going to be using here is going to be pretty strong,
Whoa,
they're
what?
the best,
Yeah.
we're really going to be talking very highly about them and about how good certain things are that they're doing, and that might seem to some people like, oh, so they wouldn't like a group that doesn't do this, or they wouldn't like a group that's opposite of this, or don't they know that this group also is like that? And that's not what this is about. This is on the QVC, the host lady, she'll literally spend a whole segment talking about a food processor and how its large capacity bowl is so great for so many different things, right? And then she'll literally turn around the next day and be selling a food processor that is so tiny, and she'll be like, this food processor is so great with its small size, it's so compact, it's great for travel, you don't want a big bulky thing on your counter, right? And she can see the positives in both types of food processor, and maybe she even personally likes both types. She's not a fraud because she talked one up and then she talked the other up. She'd only be a fraud if she said, I absolutely despise small food processors, and then the next day she was selling a small food processor and saying that it was good.
Yeah.
We're not doing that. We're going to be talking about a lot of things.
Good analogy.
Thanks. We're going to be talking about a lot of things that we like about this group. That's not to say we wouldn't like groups that do things not this way. And that's not to say we think this is the only group that does things this way. We're just basically saying, these are things we like about this group. They're great. If you like these things too, you're going to like this group as well.
Right. And honestly, blitzers, if you are listening, howdy. This is the BlushCat podcast.
Hi.
Thank you for tuning in. I really hope that blitzers, is actually a genuine, good group. We're not gonna, talk this group up if we find something horrible out or something like that. But so, hopefully we say all these good things about them. We talk about why you should stan them, and they, keep they keep going on the path that they're going on, and like the reasons that we like them stay reasons that we like them.
Yes, because we're very I want to say logical, but I don't think that's the right word, you know? Like reasonable, yeah. Like we unfortunately, not, I know it's going to hurt some people, but we would unsupport people if we found out that they did things that we were not comfortable supporting.
Yeah.
But as of right now, and you know, we're fairly new, I suppose, fans. So as of right now, that hasn't happened. So, you know, we're all here for the support.
Right. So let me just start now by providing some background and general information on the K-pop group Blitzers. So we're going to tell you that their debut was May 12th, 2021. So they've been around for almost 3 years now. And like I said before, the fandom name is BLEE. So if you are a Blitzers fan, which hopefully you will be soon if you're not already, you will be called BLEE. And their slogan is actually "Shout Out Blitzers." So how fun is that? And they do have a hand sign. Some groups don't, but Blitzers does. And they actually do it in the choreography for their debut, Breathe Again. And there actually is a behind video where Wuzo teaches you how to do the hand sign.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. So why don't you, Devin, do you think that you can tell us?
Demonstrate the hand sign?
No.
I can't.
No. Do you think you can go ahead and tell all of the Meowers, the members of Blitzers, seeing as you learned them in episode 25 of the BlushCat podcast when you sorted boy group members?
Wow, I absolutely can. Thank you so much for asking. I can't, however, probably do them in an order.
Okay.
So, in Blitzers, we have Wuzo, Shaw, Chris, Juhan, Jinhwa, Lutan, and former, but some of us refuse to believe it, member Goyu.
Yes.
And by some of us, I mean me. We can dissect that wording all we want and say that he's coming back.
Okay, yes. So good job. You know, everybody, if you heard her attempt initially to sort the members, you know, you would be very impressed at, you know, how far she has come.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy to think I didn't even know him before.
Yeah. So Jinhwa is actually the leader of Blitzers, but Juhan is the oldest member now. Goyu was the oldest, but he did leave just this January after like close to a year-long hiatus because of his health, which is unfortunate. So there's that. And Wuzo is the maknae, so he's the youngest. And Chris speaks English because he lived in America. Just for some information on that. Now, for some more information, Jinhwa actually was a contestant on Produce X 101. Blitzers participated in Peak Time, and they currently have 5, I think, OSTs.
Wow. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Shaw released a song on the Blitzers YouTube channel that he wrote and composed, and Wuzo acted in a web drama, but I'm like so sorry. I actually have no idea what it's called or where you can watch it. But there was like a behind video of that. I know nothing else about it. It's very hard to find, I guess. So sorry. Now, I will jump to Produce X 101 because, as I said, Jinhwa, he did compete on it, but he was unfortunately eliminated the first round. So you might be, you know, curious to hear about this because maybe you watched Produce X 101 and you had no idea that, you know, one of the contestants ended up in Blitzers. And so you can still watch all of his like intro videos and audition clips, as well as the first performance that he was in where he did Adore You by 17, and he actually was the center for that performance.
Nice. Yes.
Yeah. But like, even though he was the center, honestly, like I feel so bad for him because he was clearly just like disrespected, underrated, like big time on that show. Because even though he was the center for Adore You, he ranked last for like the performance.
God.
So
we all know that season was rigged beyond belief. So like I feel like literally if you just look at the differences in people's experience with the like beginning mission sort of thing videos, it clearly, like, I don't know, it looks like something was going on there. Like some people, like, I don't know, it's just, yeah. So who knows what happened? Like, nothing can be trusted from that season. Like it was literally deemed like unusable.
Yeah, basically. So he was on that for a short amount of time. His level test, whatever you want to call that little, like, not necessarily audition, but like the first level test thing. That performance he did, he was all alone because he was the only one from that company. It was great. Like, it really highlighted his, like, amazing dance skills. And I'm pretty sure they said that he choreographed it himself. And it's like a style that is maybe unexpected from like Jinhwa. I guess if you've seen like a lot of Blitzer's performances, like maybe you wouldn't know that he can dance in that style. But it was really good, and he did receive an A rank for that first evaluation.
That's ridiculous. A rank, center, eliminated immediately.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah, so it just goes to show that right away, like Blitzer's members have talent. They have skill to some capacity. We know that already. So then they had Wuzo Circle, and Wuzo Entertainment is Blitzer's company. Okay, so they had the Wuzo Entertainment trainees doing like some content that would determine the original 7 members of Blitzers. And they released the songs Blitz and Drawing Paper.
Okay, so I watched the Wuzo Circle Blitz performance, and it had a whole bunch more people in it, but like they still called it Blitzers. That was like knowingly having too many people in it from Blitzers. Like they knew like that wasn't going to be everybody.
Right.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, the purpose of that was just like, they were going to narrow it down.
Okay. It was crazy. It was like a dance troupe.
Yeah. So now I will just run through the Blitzers timeline real quick from Check-In, which is their debut EP, until the most recent, which is Macarena. And so I'm going to just tell you, the release date, the title track, stuff like that. So Check-In, their debut EP, like I said before, it was released May 12th, 2021, with the title track Breathe Again. And they had the promoted B-side Blitz, the Next Level remix, and they did that on some music show stages, but, it was re-released as a Blitzer song. So they also re-released the song Drawing Paper under Blitzers. And Jinhwa did participate in lyrics for Blitz.
Nice job, Jinhwa.
Then they had the Seatbelt Era, which was their second EP released in October of 2021. Their title track was We'll Make a Mistake, and they also promoted the B-sides Hop In and K-pop. They did K-pop on a couple music show stages, but they did Hop In a lot more, and they actually had a music video for that. And Juhan did composing for the song Seatbelt, but that's not really like a full-length song. They have some sort of like intro, like interlude style songs on many of their EPs, and so that is like, that type of song. Then they had Bobbin, which was their first single album in January 2022, and Bobbin was the title track, and there were 2 other songs. Window was their third EP released in July 2022, and their title track was Hit the Bass, and they promoted the B-sides Gradation. There's a music video for that and music show stages, and they had, I think, 1 performance on a music show of the song Slide, and Shaw did lyrics for Window, and Jinhwa, Chris, Shaw, Juhan, and Uju did lyrics for Hit the Bass.
Nice.
So now we are at the current, most recent era, which is Macarena, which is their second single album released in April 2023, with the title track Macarena and the B-side Question Mark. And Goyu was on hiatus and he's not featured in the album or music video or any of the promo for this album. Personally, out of some of the songs I mentioned, I would really recommend the Hop In performances and like the music video. That is something after Macarena that it really just drew me in. I was like, wow, like I just really like the vibes and the energy of this, and it's very fun. And so it made me want to check out even more of their content and performances.
It is very fun, very iconic.
Yeah, and I also really love Question Mark. If you heard the, again, 2023 favorites episode, you'll know how much I love that song. And I really like Slide. I thought that was great. I wish they performed it more, honestly. And I've got to talk about Gradation because that style is like a style that I really like. And it's honestly kind of the style of Jinhwa's Produce 101, level test, like dance. So I would recommend. There's like this one fan sign where they did Gradation and the members are all like laughing or trying not to laugh, and it's really funny. And honestly, Breathe Again, I'm gonna recommend like performances of that because the choreography is very interesting and it's very intense, and the live vocals for the debut stages are good as well. And I just think it's a really good debut.
Yeah. I have tried to check out all of their songs and like maybe I missed one or two, I'm not sure. But first off, there were no bad ones. Like
true, speak the truth.
Like literally they're all really nice to listen to, like the slow ones, everything. I was enjoying all of them. But it does seem like most of their like harder hitting ones are the title tracks or the ones that like already have music videos for them. So those ones did end up being my favorites anyway. So I do really like Breathe Again. Obviously I like Macarena. We all love Macarena.
Oh, we all love Macarena.
We all like that one's a given,
Yeah.
But Breathe Again, yes, so good. The spin in the choreography, like, oh my God, iconic. Like
the hood choreography.
The hood, I
like
love the hood choreography. Like I love that part of the song. It's my favorite part of the song. It reminds me of Dark Angel, the TV show. I don't know why, but it does. Like it's just so cool. And then I don't know why I didn't like think this sooner or like catch on to this sooner or like wasn't familiar with this song sooner, because I knew that there was a music video for it. I saw the thumbnail for it all the time. But Bobbin, I really like Bobbin as well. It's got such like a early 2000s, like I want to say like Linkin Park, but I don't know if that's even the most accurate group, but like, it's got the vibe of like music from then.
Yeah.
Which, was around the Dark Angel time, I suppose. It's just, so they make some of their songs like sound like they're from that era and like with that sound, and I love that.
Yeah.
So it's so fun and it's like fresh and different,
Yeah, true. Bobbin kind of reminds me of like some video games. I don't necessarily want to say, the SSX, is that what it's called?
I think so,
SSX snowboarding, but like maybe like some video games of that like genre from that time. Yeah, I don't know. It's just very cool.
Yeah. I like their songs that are like that sound, but also like you said, like Hop In, so fun, so good. And then there are ones that are more like well, actually most of their ones that I've heard, like they have more of like a music sound than sometimes people are expecting from K-pop. Like people will be like seeing someone do the live band performance or like one of those tiny desk concerts that has like real instruments, and they're like, oh wow, yes, like finally, like it sounds like real music. Like I feel like Blitzers has like some more like real music sounds in their music than sometimes you'll like hear from other groups. And like it's like, I'm not even a stickler for that sort of thing, but like it just gives it more of like a rock early 2000s feel and influence in some of them, or like a 90s influence in some of them. And I like that. A lot of the times that people have been going for more retro sounds recently, it's even further back into the synth era, you know. And this is not synth, but it's not current either.
Okay.
Oh, and another B-side that I kind of like actually ended up liking a little bit, which it's weird because I think my opinion was a little bit skewed initially. The suspenders, you know, the cringe dance, it was kind of throwing me a little bit. I thought that I wouldn't like that, right?
Yeah.
That Love is New Gravity.
Yeah.
But I actually, it's like a mixture of like question mark sort of vibes, but with like the Linkin Park, you know, sound that they have in the other songs.
Okay.
It's like the more like breathe again bobbin sound of like a question mark genre song.
Okay, that's stuck in my head right now, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like that one because it's like chill but groovy.
Yeah, I like it. I don't like I like their video that they did because of how cringe and funny it is, but at the same time, like, we all know how much I hate suspender dance stuff. So, but like, I get that they're doing it to be that way, you know, like, it's like, it seems like they hate suspender dances too, to a degree. But, no, like, when I first saw it, I was like, oh no, what is this? But listening to it, like, I like that song a lot.
If you're curious to check out any of the Blitzers stages or performances, just know that their performance ability is great, in my opinion, and they have amazing stage presence.
Absolutely. I feel like some people could be worried that because it's a newer group and or a smaller group, you know, it's more like the indie side rather than the Hollywood side, like if we're talking like, you know, relation to movies or something, then they might think it's a little bit rough around the edges. Maybe it's a little lacking. Like maybe it's like, well, it's not top tier because they're not, you know, that famous, that practiced, anything like that. No, like they are well-rounded. Their performances are polished. They also are so present in the moment.
For sure.
Like, it's just, I feel like they are really like strong in their performance ability. You know, it's like a hidden gem, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, it's not like, well, they're not famous because they're not as good. Like, no, like they're like,
Yeah.
they should get more recognition. Like, they're good.
Right. Yeah, like that's why we're doing this episode, so they get more recognition because they are good.
Yeah.
And like you said, all very well rounded. Like they have great vocalists, they have great rappers, great dancers, and we even have like some examples of their skills in composing. And you know, they have solid live vocals from what I've heard, and they can just really deliver and bring energy to their performances. They've proven to have a very diverse range as well. Like they do ballads, they do fun songs, they do hard-hitting songs, and they do all of them really well. And Jinhwa has even choreographed for Blitzers, which is great.
Yeah. And I think I might have been starting to say this, and like I don't even know if I started it or if it was just in my mind that I was starting to go along that path, and then it never finished. Because I was saying I like the songs that are, you know, like the rock, like, you know, cool songs, but also they're smoother ones, you know, like Gradation. It's so like the vocals are so strong.
Yeah.
And they're dancing when they do, like, you know, like that, just that the Blitz performance. Like it's like a dance troupe. Like their dancing is so strong, you know, like they're not even like, oh well, yeah, it's a group that's good at this like one thing or this one type of thing. They do have a lot of versatility as well, like you were saying.
Yeah.
I also just really like the sense of authenticity that I get from them. It feels like they're in it, you know, it feels like they're invested. It feels like they're having fun, like they're enjoying it, you know. It's just, to me, it feels authentic, and I really like that about them. Sometimes people have to debut with a song that they really are not feeling, and they have to sell it, and they do a great job selling it, but at the same time, they're like, you know, I wasn't here for that. And that's perfectly fine, you know. We still appreciate and love the hard work everybody puts into everything. It's great. They usually do a good job, but I just am saying that I feel like Blitzers doesn't usually give me that vibe. And you know, another thing that Blitzers does that I really like that is maybe not related at all, but I forgot to mention. Macarena. Like, can we talk about this for a second?
Yes.
Macarena, I really like how the whole like start of the song, I don't know if you'd call it the start, like the beginning of the song, like the first half of the song, they're kind of like talking over one another. Like when the one part happens and then the next part happens, but like the last part didn't finish.
Yeah, it does do that, and I love that.
Yeah, I feel like it's so cool. Like I feel like it gives it such a vibe.
Yeah.
Like it really, I don't know. I was listening to it the other day and I was like, wait, did they like, it was when I was watching the, what are they called? Arirang Radio or something?
Oh, yeah.
You know? And so they were like singing it, like, you know, just sitting there singing it that I really like noticed. I was like, the one person starts their line before the last person finished what they were saying. And it just is so like, it gives it such this cool energy. Like it makes it doesn't seem like, you know, crowded isn't the right word, I guess. But, you know, it doesn't feel bad or weird or anything. It feels like cool and like, I don't know. I really like that part. I should have mentioned it when I was talking about Macarena, but I forgot.
I feel like this will be weird to say, maybe, but that, like, you saying that about, like, the way that they start their parts and stuff, I feel like the Macarena energy is similar to the energy from the BTS cyphers.
Oh, okay.
Like, you know, like, just the fact, like, that each person, like, you know, Chris gets a moment, Shaw gets a moment, Jinhwa gets a moment. Like, I feel like the energy that they're bringing is, like, the energy that you get when you listen to, like, the cyphers or something like that. And it's, like, you're so hyped for the next part. And it's, like, the fact that it, you know, blends in and, like, flows into the next one right away. It's, like, oh, like, you're still, like, right there with them.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, I feel like I haven't heard any of the ciphers. I mean, I'm not super familiar with some of them, and I haven't heard them in a really long time. But, like, I get what you're saying energy-wise. How, like, yeah, it makes you, like, it builds anticipation kind of for the next part. Like, when you know that it's coming, and it's like, okay, now it's going to go into the next part. Like, yeah, I get that.
Like, Macarena is just such a good song.
It really is. But, yeah, so that's kind of, like, all of the sort of general song stuff that I have to say, I suppose.
Okay.
Maybe it was all over the place, but
I don't think so. But let's talk about the, like, content that Blitzers has. And with the content, you know, we can learn some more about their personality, and, you know, we're gonna also bring up some stuff. Like, let's talk about kind of why Blitzers stands out, what sets Blitzers apart and makes Blitzers unique, you know?
Okay, yeah.
So there's a lot of Blitzers content, which is great. We love content. We love when groups get to have content, especially, you know, not one of the big four groups. Having content is always a plus because, you know, sometimes the groups don't get too much content. But I would say that Blitzers has quite a bit of content, and they make sure to still put out regular content, which I love.
Yes, might I say, I've never seen a Blitzers content piece that I didn't enjoy. So that's, you know, that's a good sign.
Nice.
Good sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, let's just throw away the training wheels isn't the right word. Kid gloves, I believe, is what they like to say a lot of the times. You know, let's take off the kid gloves, okay? If you're here and if you're listening, especially if you're still listening, you're here to stand Blitzers, right? So, like, let's just go for it, you know? No more of this disclaimer stuff. No more of like, oh, well, maybe you'd like this. And we're not trying to say other groups don't have good content. No, like, let's just go for it, you know? Blitzers content, great. And why don't we tell you why? Because you're here to either, like, you already stand Blitzers or you're interested in standing Blitzers. And so what's the point of holding back, right?
Right. If you are interested in Blitzers, standing Blitzers, watching their content, you would be glad to know, if you are an English speaker, that they have English subtitles when the content is uploaded on, like, most of the content, and the early videos even have hard subs. So that like is something very unique about Blitzers. to
I
me.
was glad to know. You said you might be glad to know, and I was. Yeah, and you know what else they have?
Everything.
Well, yes, probably. No, but the subs, fantastic. Like that's seriously, like when it was some of the biggest groups, some of the most international groups, you're like literally like waiting around for the subs. Like, when are they gonna sub it? Is it subbed yet? And it's like fans have to, like, there's a fan that subs it and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like,
And
what's the point?
it's
Not that they have to have subs, but it's just like, if you can, why not?
Yeah. And it's not even actually just like video content on their YouTube, but like all the Blitzers content is subbed, like, or translated. Like their tweets, they have, if they put out a new video, they tweet about it in Korean, but then they'll like reply and put an English translation of it. And they'll do that on the Instagram. Like, yeah. So it's pretty cool.
Wow, that's nice. I like that a lot. But yeah, you know what else they have, which I feel like I notice a good bit in like music related content pieces as well. Freedom. Like the freedom to really just like do some fun stuff. Like, I feel like I see it a lot in the relay dances. I watched all of their relay dances because I was like, are all of them as good as Macarena? And they were. Maybe Macarena is the one where they go the craziest, but still, it's like sometimes you watch a relay dance and what you get is more of just like the actual choreography, but they're doing a really good job of the relay dance.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the Blitzers ones, they're really just doing whatever they want. Like, there's the choreography.
Yeah, I love that about when they make it fun like that.
Yeah, like they just get to, like, sometimes I feel like some groups are they're a bit stifled, by the management and by the company. Like, the company's like, hey, stop that, hey, don't do that, like, hey, we're watching you. And it seems like with Blitzers, it's more of like, go for it. Like, do whatever you're gonna do because it's gonna be funny, it's gonna be good. And yeah, so I like that overall in general, their content, it seems like it has a lot of freedom. I hope that stays that way.
Yeah, me too. I really hope it stays that way, because one of the things that I wished for in that Wishes episode we did is like, more chaos in the content. And I brought up Blitzers and like their zombie game content. Love the zombie game content. It is like very chaotic, and I like really respect that they just let them do whatever. So like, I hope that doesn't change. Like, I'd say many of their content pieces, they sort of let go of that idol image, as they call it, and it's they don't care. It's like they're just gonna do whatever.
Oh yeah, I guess that's another thing too. Like, sometimes it's not necessarily the management, maybe it's more so just the individuals themselves being like, I don't want to look this way on camera right now.
Yeah.
And that's perfectly fine. Sometimes people are like, you're not gonna film me doing that.
Yeah.
But Blitzers, yeah, it adds an extra level of like unhinged craziness for them to just be like doing whatever.
Even their V lives are like that. It's like, or their Weavers lives. Sorry. But it's like they don't care. So.
And it's like somewhat supported by the staff too, because like it's other people filming them for these things. Like, I think back, the zombie game reminds me of when BTS did the May party, which I don't even know what normal people would call it, but hide and seek, I guess. But we call it the May party videos. They were filming those on their own. Yeah. So like, there was no staff there to tell them, stop doing this, guys. But with Blitzers, it's like, it's set up. Like, there's someone filming them. But yeah, so that's good.
Yeah. I would say that the editors, like, for Blitzers as well, add to their content. Like, I think I've said it before that I think they're really funny and good editors, and they're also good at having ideas, making designs for like the thumbnails. Even I know you said that they're really nice looking, and I agree.
I do really like their thumbnails a lot. Coming from someone that's been making thumbnails for 10 years and they are kind of like I really like Blitzer's thumbnails, but thank you.
They also used to, at like the end of like BLEE cams and like videos on their channel, they used to include this bit at the end where the members like slid around on the practice room floor to make like the shape of the Blitzers logo, and there was even this like little squeaking sound. It was really funny, and yeah, like you don't see that coming from most K-pop groups.
I feel like it might be hard for people to picture or understand what you're talking about if they haven't seen it, but then once you've seen it, you're like, oh, like I see, I get what you're talking about. And yeah, I feel like maybe, I don't know why, but I feel like maybe like The Boys or somebody would do that sort of thing once. But like, yeah, it was definitely a shock. I was like, this is official content that's having this ending.
Yeah, and the fact that it was like a regular thing. Yeah, like people, like groups will do stuff like this every once in a while.
Right.
But like, yeah, Blitzers, it's very often. And so, makes the content more funny to me. Something else that you might enjoy is the fact that each member has an individual program that's like centered around a different topic. Juhan has photography content, Shaw has cooking content, so they upload those every now and again, and I think that's cool that they kind of like, asked, and they're like, oh, what kind of content do you want to make? So they put that out.
Yeah, that's always nice. Sometimes you don't get like any content from any of the people. Like sometimes you go onto the channel for the group and they've got like those Becky vlogs of like stage, music show days or whatever. And then they've got like, I don't know, music video behinds and stuff. Like, and where's the content?
Yeah.
And then they're like, there's other channels where it's like, we're going to give you content for each person and it's going to be regular. Excuse me, what? That's what Blitzers has.
In general, I would actually recommend like you go watch every BLEE cam that they have, basically. Like just go to their channel and go to the playlist and enjoy the ride, because that's what I did. And now look, I'm doing an episode on why you should stand Blitzers.
Sounds like a good idea to me. Actually, I'm gonna have to do that at some point because I haven't seen nearly enough Blitzers content. But I have seen a couple things. I'll give a recommendation as well. It's gonna seem so random. It's going to seem so like, it's not like a content piece, okay? But it's the first thing I want to recommend just because I don't know where else to talk about it, right? I don't know why their playlist for their window release album, whatever, is kind of screwed up in this way and has number 5 in the list as the window highlight medley. Okay, I don't know why that's there like that instead of Hapoom, the song, but it is. And so I watched it because I was going through their albums and listening to their songs, and I just thought, you know what, this is good. The highlight medley. Because
some people have good highlight medleys and it's respectable.
Yeah, like it was I don't know if they're always like this, like, Blitzers has done other ones and if they're like that. I've only seen this one, but it was so high quality for starts, like the graphics, I'm saying, like it was HD, like it was high quality, and then also just simply to see the way that Jinhwa like descends down the like trampoline ramp at one part is worth it enough to watch it. Like it was funny.
Okay.
And yeah, so it had some like, it was very nice, aesthetically pleasing to look at. It had some nice funny elements, especially during those first songs. And I overall I think it was just, they did a good job. Now I have another content recommendation as well, if anybody's interested. And I've only seen episode 1, and I believe there are 2 episodes out of it now at this point. But I want to recommend, I don't know what it's called, the school thing that they did. The school.
Oh, the B grade sentiment is how I think they translate that. And there's actually 3 episodes now.
Oh my god, there's 3 episodes. I gotta watch them. Guys, sorry, I gotta go watch them. Well, I've only seen episode 1, but it was worth it. Like, it was so funny. The whole intro part, they're like, it's one of those things where the people are all playing characters, sort of like doing like a stereotypical caricature role sort of thing. And sometimes it's office workers, sometimes it's, I feel like there's something else, or then sometimes it's school. Like, those are the 3, like, I feel like there's like 3 main things that people end up doing. So Blitzers did school, and like, I feel like their characters are just so funny. Like, it just surprises me every time that I see idols do this sort of thing, at how good they are at like doing the character, and like the tiny little nuances that they'll add in. That's just like, oh my God, yes, that's exactly like what that person would do. Like an office worker of that type, a school child of that type. Like they would do this sort of thing, and it's so funny. So I highly recommend that if people like that type of content. I think Blizzards is doing a fantastic job of what I've seen so far. Recommend. Go watch it. It's good.
Okay, solid. I agree. I have recommended before the like, well, maybe I feel like I've definitely talked about it in the episode, but I've like had it in our Meower monthlies as like recommendations and stuff like that, of their working holiday content and the Blitzers holiday content, which is like somewhat of like a recent content, and I enjoy that. I thought it was really good. I thought it was really interesting, and they actually had some like member vlogs like around the Macarena era that I would recommend because they're interesting, and I like how they like, you know, have more individual member content as well. Like, so there's definitely a good balance of each person getting their own thing and like, you know, group content. But something that kind of sets Blitzer's content apart that I noticed in Shaw's vlog was he went and he visited his friend who's like a composing, like music making friend, and like he was just in it. Like his friend was just in the video, and the staff, like Blitzer's staff, is actually in their content. Not like they're never like shown, but they'll call the staff, like the managers, or they might like play a game with them or like joke with them. Like you hear the staff laughing and stuff. So it's not like, it's like the staff will be present, but it's not like weird that they're there, or it's not relaxed. Like, yeah, it's not like, oh, we're watching you like make your content and you have to behave type of staff.
Which literally does happen sometimes. If you guys think we're being like weird about it, no, sometimes the staff is like really overbearing.
Yeah.
But okay, yeah, so more of a comfortable presence. I like that. That's nice.
I mean, that's what it seems like at the very least. There's actually a lot of good content around Macarena era specifically that I would recommend. Just, you know, you go to the Blitzers YouTube channel and honestly watch everything until you've consumed it all the content, and then get back to us and you'll be like, yeah, it was good. I stand Blitzers now.
I thought you were gonna say go to their channel and just like click on any video, like because it would be good, but you said watch everything.
Yeah. They have actually done some like charity events too, though, that they even like, they have content on their channel where they are like showing what they're doing for, I think, Good Neighbors is what it was, that I have seen like other K-pop groups that do partner with that. So they have, you know, more content that's released in collaboration with that, which is good to see, you know. And they actually also have something on the live section of their channel that I think is very cool, and like they don't do it anymore, but they used to do dance practice live streams that's sort of like a CCTV style. Like they'll go on well, that's what they call it nowadays, but like they'll go on Weverse Live still and do like, you know, they'll dance, but this is like before debut.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they would like, you know, just have the camera in the corner. They'd put some random music on and like stretch. They'd practice like random dance moves or like, you know, non-Blitzers choreography, and it would just be really interesting. And, you know, the thumbnails for those are also funny too, because they would like do a pose, like you know, they'd make a star, or they'd all like they'd make a human pyramid type of thing, and that would be the thumbnail for the live. So I thought that was interesting. And speaking of their practice room, actually, I love their practice rooms because of the super cool BLEE wall art, which I'll get into the BLEE characters, but they painted the wall, like they have 2 practice rooms with, you know, Blitzer's wall art, and they painted that themselves, and they have a video actually where you can see them painting it, which is great.
I think that's cool, not only just because it's cool and like I like the look of it, but also because it's like, you know, to watch the dance practice and see the room, you know, that they're in being like sort of branded for blitzers rather than branded for the company.
Yeah.
Like it's just it's nice because I feel like anytime you see a dance practice room, it's either plain, like you're not really seeing like a name or something, or you're seeing the company logo, the company name, like that's what's in your face. But so for blitzers to be able to have like, this is our, you know, space, this is our room, seems like that must be nice.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of like how Kong Daniel has a cool like thing on his wall too, and his is, you know, Kong Daniel, but it's his business, so I guess it's kind of a hybrid situation. But yeah, so that's nice. Rather than like JYP looming over their like across the entire ceiling, like that's so threatening every time I see it.
I'll actually just talk about the BLEE tune now, I guess, because, you know, it's relevant. I love how they're like almost 3 years into being blitzers and they still have the BLEE tune going. Like a lot of times groups will start with something that's unique and different like that, but then they drop it after a while and I'm like, well, why? That was so fun. But so like the BLEE tune is each member has like a little cartoon representation that's used for all sorts of things. They are, like I said, like featured in the murals or whatever you would want to call them in the practice rooms. They've got a like little standee that they'll take around with them and they'll like take photos of it if they travel somewhere. And there's a thing called BLEE Trip, which is where the fans will take a picture somewhere and then like the, you know, characters will be added into the photo. And so it's like pretty interesting, all the little things that they'll do with it. There's also little comics sometimes, or like, you know, a little webtoon, and they'll literally make like a mini story with the BLEE tune characters. So it's like a little Blitzers story but with their little characters. And they recently also released a BLEE tune music video, which is to the song Simon Says, which is one of their songs from the Bobbin like time. And so I thought it was so cool that they decided to do that, especially since they were pulling back from an older release. I like when groups, you know, don't ignore the first half of their music. And I love the little details that they always include with the characters.
Yeah, I think that music video, I guess you'd call it, clip, whatever, is so aesthetically pleasing. Like, I love the look of it. I love the like I feel like the animation is done so nicely, like to give it this like vibe, like in the way the characters are drawn. Like, I don't know, I really like it. And I'm going to be getting off track just for the slightest moment because you reminded me. I also really liked, I saw the lyric video for Raindrop. Is that what it's called? It's like, when I was going through listening to their songs, that's what they had there. Like, they had the lyric video or whatever in place for that song. And it's just like it's like got like a watercolor vibe to it, but like it's got like characters, but it's not like the BLEE tunes, like they're like bigger, you know, sized people. But it's like just drawings and animation. And I just thought that was really aesthetically pleasing as well. So I feel like whoever they have working on their, you know, animation and drawing stuff, it's really good. Like, I just think it's really pleasant to look at.
Yeah. And they make like the header designs change often with the BLEE tune characters, and I think that's really great. Like, I love that they do that. I think it's so fun, and it makes the whole channel look good, or like the Twitter, stuff like that.
Yeah, I saw the one now with the dragon, and I thought it looks so nice. Like, once again, it's so pleasing to the eye. Like, they keep being such like satisfying things. Like, it just looks,
and like the colors that they use, like they use color, and I like that.
But I mean, going back to BLEE tune, like, I just feel like, you're saying it's nice that they are sticking with something that they've had since the start.
Mm-hmm.
But I was actually thinking of it as it's nice that they had this from the start. Because like I feel like a lot of the times groups will have a little character that represents each member like later on, and they didn't start with it, and or they'll have it just for sort of like a time or like a product.
Yeah.
But like it's not like part of their like, you know, it's not part of their story. It's not part of them. It's just sort
That's
of like,
true.
oh, we'll make a like a plushie line or something, and they have it for a while, and you're like, this is so cute. But then they like get rid of it, and it's just sort of like a thing that happened.
Yeah.
But with Blitzers, yeah, it seems like it's a thing that's like there.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
Yeah. I guess just like other than, you know, recommending every content piece, like some other stuff that you might want to check out is a little bit unique is like the BLEE or the fan cafe content that they have. Like they please Blitzers, don't stop using the fan cafe. I really wish more groups would utilize the fan cafes like they used to a lot, but now like Blitzers has a Weavers and a fan cafe actually, but you know they seem to use both of them regularly, and so I really just hope that they keep using the fan cafe because I enjoy that, and I enjoy that it's like, you know, if you've been on Weavers, you know, you'll get some fans of other groups coming in, and it's like, it's not as, you know, fan of an environment. It becomes just, you know, open to everything, and it's like,
it's public.
Yeah, it's public. But the fan cafe, you know, there's a lot of good stuff going on over there, and they actually have a Blitzers font that you can download if you join the fan cafe.
Wow, that's cool.
So that's pretty neat.
I was noticing some of their fonts on the album cover art, and like the uniqueness of some of them, and being like, oh, that's an interesting font that they're using.
One last thing that I would say about Blitzers is that all of the members have been learning Japanese. They've been active in Japan. So if that interests you, Blitzers is doing that. So they have shown like in many different ways that they can promote globally, and I think that they're doing a good job at that. You know, the BLEE trip thing opens up the global window, if you will. They've done Europe tours, they've done American tours. They've had content where they go to different places even for like their album concept, and you know, like the Window Era actually had that sort of factor built into the concept. And so I feel like so far they're doing it in a way that is still true to Blitzers, and it doesn't seem like they're trying to meld into a different genre or style when they do this other sort of stuff. It seems like, okay, this is just what we're doing, and we're still gonna do it in our way, but hey, we're gonna go to a different place, we're gonna have this here, we're you know, do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
No, I do. We appreciate that a lot.
Yeah.
Like it still seems as if they're making music and content and everything for the same audience that they have been always, rather than like, oh, we're in a different place, let's try to make content for an audience that we think would be here.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, what about the rest of us that were like already listening, you know? My final thing to say would be a sincere and honest request to Blitzers. Hello, Blitzers.
Oh, wow. Hello, Blitzers.
I really I would like to say, you know, if you'd like to come on the show, if you'd like to talk for the podcast, you know, just contact our people. That just us somehow. I don't know. Leave a comment on the video. I don't know. Just come on. Don't you want to come on the podcast? You would be the first K-pop guest on our podcast. Wouldn't that be great? I feel like that would be great. You don't have to worry about, you know, like anything being weird. You know, we're not like fake people that are like gonna ask you weird questions.
We're not fake.
know?
We wouldn't pressure
we don't even
you.
have to
We
ask you
wouldn't.
questions at all. We can just chat.
Yeah, we wouldn't be like purposely invasive to try to, like dig something up.
Yeah.
God. We would never do that.
No, we're respectable people at a respectable podcast, and we would love to have you. So, I mean, and it doesn't have to be the whole group even, if you're like, well,
Whoa.
well, no, I'm just saying, some people might feel uncomfortable, they might be like, oh no, I don't know if I would feel comfortable doing that podcast, or if I'd feel comfortable, it seems like it's mainly English speaking, anything like that. So if you just like, if one person's interested and wants to do it on their free time, like anything, we'd be glad to have any of you. What a great experience that would be.
That would be a great experience. If you are listening, Blitzers, I would be like, that would be so like, wow, couldn't believe we got our first K-pop guest. I feel like I would be very nervous. I feel like I would be like so hesitant to actually do that. So what if they contact us and they're like, hello, like we want to like be on your podcast because we heard your, I would be like, I don't know if I actually want to do it. I don't know.
You'd have to get through the nerves. It would be the best thing to have ever happened to the BlushCat podcast.
Maybe, like, imagine, though, if the BlushCat podcast did, like, branch out into that, like, and we had, sometimes, like, there are channels out there that K-pop groups will actually go on.
I know.
For content sometimes, but it's not actually, like, what they do solely. Like, we're not saying we turn into that kind of podcast, but, like, what if we did just have groups come on sometimes?
Yeah, just a guest sometimes.
Yeah.
Like Blitzers can do like K-pop current events with us, or they can like do the comeback special for the next month. No, they wouldn't do that. They would play. We could play a game with them.
Yeah.
One of our award-winning game episodes.
Yeah.
Awarded by me just now. I gave them an award. But anyway, no pressure, no pressure. It's just it's an invite. I'll put it out there. Sometimes you just got to put yourself out there. So, this is our invite to Blitzers.
Okay. So, yeah, I'd say like basically at the end of the day, Blitzers is iconic. And like, this time, Blitzers is the moment. So everybody needs to know about Blitzers because it will be the Blitzers moment, even if you feel like it's not. It's like it will be, right? There's so much uniqueness in the content and the members themselves. In my eyes, they haven't locked themselves into a certain trend or standard at all, and the members really seem capable and skilled. They've got great music, great choreography, great content, designs, stage presence. Blitzers is really doing it all. And I just hope that Blitzers stays consistent and that they don't lose their uniqueness. And yeah, stan Blitzers.
Absolutely. And also, I just had the best idea. Okay, we have we are cats, right? Like our cat heads are talking here. And then when Blitzers comes on this podcast, they have the BLEE tunes.
Yep. We might need perfect. The Blitzers team to like help us with the editing or something.
They can just if they just upload Blitzers, we can tell you exactly how to do it. Okay, you just upload your images to the thingamabobber, and then it'll just auto be there, and then it's gonna be so great, and you're exactly perfect because you already have animated characters.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are iconic, and like it's undeniable, it's really like there's no more to say about it because it's just kind of like they are.
So if you have more to say about it, why don't you go ahead and leave us a comment on this episode on YouTube and tell us if you already do stan Blitzers. Tell us why. Share some reasons for other people to stan Blitzers. If you don't stan Blitzers but you've been inspired after this episode, tell us about it in the comments. And actually, you can do that if you're listening on Spotify as well. You can leave us a reply there. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the BlushCat channel and turn on notifications.
Thank you all so much for listening to us rave about Blitzers. I hope you enjoyed.
This has been Blitzen
and me. Bye.
Meow, meow, meow. Meow, 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 meow.